your fancy. You can have it any way you want. Your fancy. You can have anything you like. It's your fancy. You can have it any way you want. Your fancy. You can have anything you like.
This is Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Gaze into your future. The future is yours to see. As a direct result of your past and present actions, you do have a large effect on your future. And to know it, you have to know the mind of God. Creator of the universe, God the Good, loves you, Taurus. November is the month of the angelic frequencies of the gemstone of Citrine. And your birthstone is Emerald, Taurus. So what we need to do is find out how these two gemstones resonate with each other. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to learn how to contact me, please visit my website at www.readingsbyrosemary.com, where you can find out how you can obtain one of our spiritual consultations, psychic astrology, Rosicrucian Kabbalah, as well as classes and upcoming seminars. Now, November's gemstone of Citrine has the light emanations of the astrology archangel Barchiel. And your zodiac sign gemstone of Emerald has the properties of light bestowed by the zodiac angel Asmodel. Now stay right here as we give you the gemstones particular to your ruling planet of Venus, Taurus. White sapphire, clear diamonds, white topaz, quartz crystals, as well as zircons are the precious stones used to align oneself with the energies of the planetary angel Hanael, who is assigned to the planet Venus in Kabbalah, also called Anael, being Hanael or Anafiel, since these names and resulting slightly different and varying angels corresponding to Venus apply pleasurable though attenuated levels of bestowal, creature comforts, and sensuality. So be mindful of your own intentions and potency when utilizing these powerful gemstones in unison with each other. Now, regarding the associations, you can utilize for the planet Venus, you can utilize rose quartz, because rose quartz is something that is good for utilizing the Sapphire of Netzach in Kabbalah. Netzach found here, the color being green, but the rose is another color because it's associated with the flower being the rose, because there's different scales also in Kabbalah, king, queen, prince, and princess scales where the colors slightly change. But so you can use rose quartz for Venusian energies. You can also you can use some of the quartz types of crystal type things for the other Venusian attributes. And you can use, again, emerald, and you can use the kind of for rings and bracelets, emerald for Taurus, and you can use citrine color for Scorpio, because it's the 8th house, a natural 8th house during November. So you can have Scorpio energies mixed with your own energies of Taurus. You're going to have the Venusian energies that is the ruling planet of Taurus. Now, a very good book that just happens to be Citrine. We have the book called Egyptian Myths and Mysteries. And this is a very important book. It was a gift given to me by a Rosicrucian order I was in many moons ago, which I hold these people in high regard and love them dearly. And this is a book that was written by Rudolf Steiner. And it's the publisher is Anthroposophic Press. Again, the author, Rudolf Steiner. This is Egyptian Myths and Mysteries. So this is a very important book that tells you all about how the consciousness creates the structures in the universe that are associated with the body, and how the planets and the ancient planets, including the sun and moon, are part of the makeup of the organs and the various parts of the body, the various portions of your body. So that's a really deep book. You want to get that. Okay, now the planetary angel Anael, sometimes called Hanael or Haniel, is assigned to the planet Venus and the Sapphire of Netzach in Kabbalah. And among the order of the Elohim, this attribute of God is evoked using the God name of Yahweh Sabaoth, or Yud He Vav He Zabaoth, with an S or a TZ. Now, Anael, Aniel, Hanael, being varying names of this divine attribute found in the angelic realm, where dreamy desire in general and specific desire of victory is found in Netzach. Through this angel is known as the beauty or the grace of God in Kabbalah. Now, Hanael, Anael, Anafiel, or Haniel is among the angels who helped transport Enoch to heaven in the book of Enoch. In the Hebrew book of 3 Enoch, or book of Enoch by R. Ishmael ben Elisha, the high priest, chapter 17, we read the princes of the 7 heavens, of the sun, moon, planets, and constellations, and their suites of angels. Now, regarding the next portion of this, R. Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the presence, the glory of all heavens, said to me, 7 are the princes, the great, beautiful, revered, wonderful, and honored ones who are appointed over the 7 havens. Important information is usually found in footnotes. Then came Anafiel. It continues, the character accepts the tradition to which Anafiel is assigned a position higher than that of Metatron. So understand that Anafiel is going to be found in Netzach, and Metatron is found in Keter, but we have a situation here where actually Anafiel is considered in this particular author's opinion or his research that Anafiel is higher than Metatron. So people want to know what is higher than something else, always assuming that what is higher is better. So, that is, but always remember that you have to rely on what is beneath you. You have to rely upon what you're standing upon, which is why sometimes you need to not just overstand, but you need to understand, so you know what is underneath you, so you know that you're being held up properly. Okay? Okay, now, regarding Anael or Haniel, is said to hold a position being a chief of both the order of virtues as well as principalities. And we have some representations of these types of angelic forces. Now, Venusian angel Anael is also sometimes referred to as the angel Ariel. And this is evocative of the prophecy of Isaiah, where God judges Jerusalem and prophesies about converting the Gentile nations. And we read in the Dewey Rheims Bible and Chandler Notes in chapter 29, verses 1 to 2, Woe to Ariel the city, which David took. Year is added to year. The solemnities are at an end. And I will make a trench about Ariel, and it shall be in sorrow and mourning, and it shall be to me as Ariel. Now, Venus, the planet Venus, is known as the attribute of God, the morning star, found in Revelation 22:16. I, Jesus, and this is the Dewey Rheims Bible, it says, I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify to you these things. In the churches, I am the root and stock of David, the bright and morning star. Now, your earth guardian archangel Uriel speaks to you from your Taurus astrology archangel, known as Asmodel. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your Taurus zodiac angel, Asmodel, who resides over the bull's fixed earth nature. And these are his messages for you in the areas of love, money, and health. First, Asmodel's love, rapture, and romance transmission. Remember, it's all about love, especially when you're dealing with the Venusian energies that rule over Taurus, and also when you're dealing with the energies of Scorpio, which is all about natural 8th house attributes such as sex and death and debt and rebirth. So you have birth, sex, death, debt, rebirth. So again, you have sort of the very visceral, important aspects of life, the aspects of life that are going to be most important to you. Now, you're going to get from Asphodel, sort of a red-orange angelic light frequency from Asphodel, because that's the color of Taurus. If you've made your rainbow one, Taurus is the red orange right under Aries, which is red. So when you use that Taurus energy of Asphodel, the angel Asphodel, the zodiac angel of Taurus, you have red orange light combined with enriching recuperative tonics, gleaming forth towards a posh, genuinely sympathetic inner and outer therapeutic vim and vigor, bestowing elixirs that emit gemstone shards of creative light, which are enthralling to gaze upon. And you can use these gemstones, and you can bake them in the sun. These are for your own, imbibing. This is an elixir that I made, and it has various teas and herbs in it, and it's a tea made from herbs and various gemstones. And this is just something that I make, which I use solar and lunar energies to and certain days and times to create these elixirs for myself for healing. And these are very nourishing and helpful. And you can make your own as well. Now remember, these are going to give you a lot of energy, especially if you're going to use the gemstone of Citrine during this time. And that will enthrall you and bring you into the inspiration and your adoring wishes through delightful sustenance granted from November's martial and Plutonian attributes, because Mars, martial, and Plutonian for the planet Pluto. Okay? The planet Pluto has been, I think since the 1930s, it's been said to be a planet. Now they're bickering back and forth whether it's a planet or planetoid, whatever. Okay? Okay, now the angelic realms are going to have an expedition for you this month of the birthstone's plenteous as well as heartening and brilliant attributes. Magical currents of an enchanting permutation of zodiac angel Barchiel's natural 8th house qualities, in addition to your own Taurus energies, bestows to you a thrilling nature, beaming with expectancy towards experiencing fresh desires being realized, as well as powers of creation or destruction, because it's creation and destruction for the 8th house, natural Scorpio type energies for Barchiel, when authentic oracles are wisely and truthfully interpreted within intuitive portions of mental acuity leading to ancient knowledge. Now, one might ask, why bother to practice magical arts? Our obvious answer is, God helps those who help themselves. Now follow this. The book of Ruth 1:8, we read in the Webster Bible translation, "And Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead, and with me." 2 great books about Egyptian magic are, again, remember, there's a book that is by Llewellyn, and if you can recall this book, some of you whom it used to be a must-read book in our order, Egyptian Magic, Enter the Body of Light and Travel the Magical Universe by Gerald and Betty Schuler. The publisher is Llewellyn, and it is by Gerald and Betty Schuler. Again, we have invested in a lot of these types of books by the Schulers, very important books. We really enjoy this book. This is a wonderful book if you want to understand Egyptian magic, from where Judaism, Christianity, and many other religions get their information from. It's got wonderful pictures in it that you might want to get it even just for that. It's got pictures of the various gods and goddesses. Very, very nice book. So it's a must-have book. Very important. Okay, now another one again that we had shared with you earlier. That was that book that had the citrine color that's perfect for November. It's that Egyptian Myth and Mysteries, again by Rudolf Steiner, by the Anthroposophic Press is the publisher. The author, Rudolf Steiner, Egyptian Myths and Mysteries. This book is very important regarding all of the various information about how the systems and the organs of the body are formed from the planetary energies, and it's in line with Rosicrucian Kabbalah. Now, one wonders why religious texts are called holy books or Word of God, while various other cultural pantheons and historical records are called myths. Why is a god like Zeus or Jupiter considered fictional characters, while Elohim are called true gods? Why is Moses' parting of the Red Sea deemed a factual miracle, while Hercules and his amazing feats of strength are measured as folklore? Put eternal truths into your mind, and thus fill your life with magic, beckons Anubis, helper of Isis. So Anubis, again, he is the helper of Isis and Osiris. He's their friend. And Anubis is a god who is not only helper of Isis, but she also helped Isis find the pieces of Osiris, the god Osiris. This is Osiris. So Anubis helped Isis find the pieces of Osiris. And this was after he had been cut into pieces, 14 pieces, by Set. So there was a war with Set where there was a Setian victory, and Anubis helped regather the pieces for Isis's husband/brother for the remembrament of Osiris. After Set had his way with Osiris due to phenomenal, again, it was a Setian victory in battle between the gods of Set and Osiris. Okay? So these are the ancient folklore. It's very important to understand where all this comes from. Now be aware of your own powers of creation and destruction when embarking on new endeavors during Martial and Plutonian rituals of birth and sex and death and dead and rebirth. Amazing storehouses of treasure and is going to be brought into the mix, because there's just an amazing amount of treasure that's been stored up due to the hermetic sealing of some of these secrets that are going to be now let out. And there's going to be, a kind of a releasing of good gains from sensible investments in an awesome resource owning to this month's association with our traditional zodiac sign of Scorpio, the Scorpion, for your amazement. And that's through fascinating, remarkable ways to benefit your love life, your family relationships, and your friendships, regarding discriminating illumination as being our origin of humanity's birth into the new age of Aquarius, which we now find ourselves in, needing to understand that and begin to live as we have been instructed, each according to their skills and talents granted by her, his creator, through genetic expression. Okay, now it's a very important book. This is probably my favorite book in the whole planet, a Rosicrucian notebook, The Secret Sciences Used by Members of the Order, a must-have book in our order when we study, especially in the second order. Is a Rosicrucian notebook, and you see the beautiful rose, cross, and the heart. It's a passionist heart there. This is authored by Willie Schroeder, and it is published by Weiser. A very, very, very important book, and a book that is a must-have book in our order, especially in the inner order. Now, watch this. In Genesis 1:27, in the Webster Bible translation, we read, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them." If sophisticated political intrigue is your chosen course of study, you would do well to begin by a thorough reading of Old Testament book of Esther, for example, to find how rulers deal with their people. In Esther 3:11 of the Webster Bible translation, we read, "And the king said to Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also to do with them as it seemeth God to thee." Now, continuing with the transmission, Look for those who want to express themselves creatively, those who brainstorm and have new ideas initiated from a gem which shines eye-catching yet therapeutic abilities for the owner of such a gemstone through enticement of Martial and Plutonian qualities affected vortex centers of crown chakra and third eye chakra, solar plexus chakra, sacral chakra, and root chakra attributes, thus producing profuse amounts of happiness throughout finding occasions as well as venues in which to heal during higher frequency psychic sessions where Rosicrucian third order beings give forth sort of an information that is generated from upper Kabbalistic worlds, and that's bestowing attainment of great halls of ancient knowledge through ultradimensional and interdimensional communications made ready for practical utilization when sympathetic energies are produced. Okay, so a good time to go ahead and charge your Lemurian crystals, and go ahead and charge some of your other crystals, your green, your citrine, and some of the various crystals that you have that you want to charge during this very, very, very potent time. Okay? Okay, now regarding the practical utilization of Mars, it corresponds with the Mars being located here, the Martial across from Chesed or Gedula. It's Gebura. Mars is located in Gebura. Gedula is where, or Chesed is where Jupiter is. It's across, Mars is across Gebura, Mars. Okay, it's where the martial energies reside. Now, these martial energies, again, they're associated with choleric humor, associated with southern hot, dry winds of Michael the Archangel, and that's the solar energy, because this is celebrating the sun going through the natural 8th house, or going through in November. And that's the hot, dry winds, and are considered malevolent in nature, according to Hippocrates. He's from 460 to 377 BC. And also Andrew Board's work in 1542 respectively. Now, Scorpio's second ruler, Pluto, associates with one's mental body, according to Dr. Bach, who is famous for his flower essence remedies. Now, Chinese medicine categorizes Pluto as having mainly a water element association given to Plutonian attributes of transformation or death. In Greek or Roman systems of medicine, water associates with phlegmatic humor. Now, indeed, author Jonathan Clockstone Wilmot, in his book Western Astrology and Chinese Medicine, speaks of Pluto as being a planet which is furthest from the sun, relating to water phase, which is how it's paraphrased, and in the quoting here of his brilliant work. Now, Pluto is extremist in its ideology, so understand that. Perhaps it was fear of the awful aspects of Pluto that caused International Astronomical Union members to demote Pluto to a dwarf planet in August of 2006. With that said, dwarfs are fierce and rich, quote, kings under the mountain, unquote, according to an epic book written in 1937, The Hobbit, by J.R.R. Tolkien. So be mindful of thinking dwarfhood is actually meant to reduce in importance. For Thorin Oakenshield II, son of Thrain, son of Thor, this took back the lonely mountain, quote unquote, from Smaug, though he was killed in action later in the Battle of Five Armies in J.R. Tolkien's work. Okay? Now, regarding human astronomical associations with their anatomical planetary correspondences, we find that Mars associates with the head, as well as structures which are produced from the head, the protrusions from the head, such as the nose and ears. Now, Pluto associates with inner or secretive portions of human anatomy. Zodiac sign correspondences assign Scorpio as ruler over sexual organs or genitals. Now, energetic, planetary, and astrological frequencies associate Scorpio as ruler over sexual organs or also portions of the body that are associated with that sexual creativity. And the chakras are as follows: the crown chakra, pineal gland, third eye chakra, pituitary gland. Now our order assigns the third eye or pineal gland to the seventh or crown chakra rather than the sixth chakra, even though that vortex traditionally bears the name of the third eye, which we assign the sixth chakra to pituitary gland location and function due to anatomical as well as practical endocrine consideration. Now, while assignments for other deckless glands, such as upper solar plexus chakra, adrenal gland, and lower solar plexus chakra, pancreas gland, sacral chakra, ovary gland, root chakra, testes, are glandular attributes and functional awareness, which are incorporated by Mother Nature into Scorpio qualities. Intense, secretive, and visceral chakra engagement of creative destruction or destructive creation makes sense through qualities of ego's empowerment of one's soul, which activates Sephiroth of mercurial potency within Hod, Tiferet, and the invisible Da'ath. So that is Hod and Tiferet and the invisible Sephiroth Da'ath, thus explaining how to obtain and identify one's lunar power in Yesod. This is Malkut and this is Yesod. Okay, so in Yesod, it's that lunar attribute for the accomplishment of activating Venusian beauty and desire here in Netzach, calling upon one's passion found in martial Gebura, which will then offer sources of Sephirotic magical currents of charm for love magic, which is effective when influenced through Venusian qualities of desire and emotive expression of love in heartfelt ways, as well as both sensuality and sexuality. And that is going to give you sort of a very rich, if you will, rich generation of genetic superiority expressed in suprahuman progeny found in goddesses or gods of genetic engineering cults and biotechnology cults, as well as eighth house attributes of birth, sex, death, and rebirth. Okay, and those are being those who deal with the absolute realities of life, although in ingenious ways to catapult humankind up the ladder of evolution, so that we can climb up Jacob's ladder. As the gods climb down to greet us, we climb up to meet them. And you have an intermingling of the god genes with the human genes, and you end up with the Nephilim and the god men and the demigods and that kind of thing. See, it's Jacob's ladder, the angels going up and down that genetic, Kabbalistic tree of life, the genetic currents there. Okay? Now, again, they're ingenious technologies, and they correspond to the Sephir of Gebura, named classically as the Greek god Aries, martial, okay? Aries, Roman god Mars, the Egyptian god Mantu, god Rio, archangel of war, or passion for romance. Planetary archangel of Mars, Samael, all invoke or invoke powerful magical currents when these are included in performance of ritual ceremonial magic. Planetary angel Kamael, with a K, is associated with Gebura, meaning strength and courage. Courage doesn't mean you have no fear. Courage means there's fear and you do it anyway, and you do it right because you've practiced. And that's located upon the feminine pillar of our Kabbalistic tree, with the qualities of the feminine qualities of war and the qualities of logic and severity expressed through war gods, again, such as Aries from Mars. Now, traditionally, the Archangel Michael is associated with winning heaven's war by kicking out Hasatan, but Michael is associated with the sun, and it corresponds with soul, again, or the sun, in any of his transits at this time through the 8th house frequencies. Planetary Archangel Azrael is associated with outer Kuiper belt planet Pluto. Now, Hades is the planet's Greek name, Pluto his Roman name, Anubis his Egyptian moniker, found in 11th invisible Sephira of Da'ath, doorway to other dimensions in the throat chakra. Or, for adepts who adhere to the law of Thelema, Pluto is found in the Sephir of Keter, where monadic reasons of self and not self vanish from sight. Okay? So that is because of the different associations for Thelemites as opposed to maybe some of the other orders that hold to some other, I don't know if one wants to say traditional, but they have, all magicians have their own way of looking at things. And the most important thing is that you relate to what makes you feel like your energy is being activated and that it's working for you. So that's what is important. Now, as we get into Asphodel's money and wealth transmission, again, remember, this is with help of the angel who resides over all the earth signs. And since you're an earth sign, Taurus, the archangel Uriel is your guardian angel. And Michael is representative of the sun, because the sun is transiting at this time through the November attributes of the Scorpio attributes. So that's how you sort of look at that. Now, regarding Asphodel's money and wealth transmission, nature at this time is going to demand obedience from her progeny, which is evident in all natural laws of science. One must keep in mind that scientists are only able to observe those dimensions in which they have apparatus to detect. So if you don't have an apparatus to detect it, you're not going to be able to understand what you're looking at. Okay? So that's why they keep making more and more apparatus so that they can perceive more and more. Now, the realms which are hidden to man are unveiled in the New Testament book entitled Revelation of St. John the Divine. Revelation is the English translation of the Greek word meaning apocalypse, through which we peer into worlds yet to come. When the sun associated with Archangel St. Michael unites forces with martial Archangel Seraphim Samael and Geburik Archangel Kamael alongside with planetary angel Azrael's Plutonian angelic realm, as well as Scorpio Zodiac angel Barchiel's dwelling, creating new worlds, evoking a longing to obtain and maintain power. So again, you're utilizing the energy of the mighty Archangel Michael or Michael, and he's representative of the sun, and when there's wars in heaven. Now, you pick up these kind of wonderful, beautiful statues at Pauline's Books and Media. I got this one at the location in Honolulu on Bishop Street. So again, you want to get those wonderful rosaries, from the Venus attributes can be seen through some of these more clear, and you can use, make sure you get some kind of copper or brass tint to the metal for Venus, and you can make sure you get some kind of sort of clear glass for the other Venusian attributes. And for yourself, a green or any kind of emerald or green rosary is good, and then you can utilize those. And for citrine, any kind of citrine color, that sort of mustard color, you can use for this November time and the Scorpio time and November. That's why you have sort of that color during November and the fall leaves and that kind of thing. Okay? Now, regarding this 8th house, you want to use the appropriate ways to protect. You're going to have protecting your home, you're going to protect your yard, and you're going to have structures and landscapes using appropriate planetary and astronomical sympathetic magic. Landscaping and addition of outdoor lighting is part of home improvement. Scorpio and 8th house attributes associated with Barchiel brings vitality to any home or property, increasing property value. Thus, a community's economic position is elevated, from which one may want to achieve earnings when Sol transits through November's frequency, where planetary seraphim of Mars named Samael, and that's the planetary archangel Pluto named Azrael, and associated zodiac angel of Scorpio Barchiel oversee activity and also oversee blessings. And you're, again, with all the creativity and bringing yearning for a better state of affairs and attainment of substantial financial goals towards glorifying values that are going to be very satisfying for you through application of holy knowledge, comprehending mechanisms of God's great universe. Because this is all just about knowing God's great universe. Now is the time This is indeed the time for making dreams come true through purposeful dedication and an actionable application of Rosicrucian magical currents to everyday life for enjoyment of miraculous results. Ancient brotherhoods appreciate competence, skill, and intelligent discourse, owning one's own business, as well as any avocation dealing with birth and death and debt and sex and rebirth. Prove valuable during natural 8th house considerations of the natural 8th house. And that is the natural 8th house associated with Scorpio, the Scorpion, with enchanting martial and Plutonian strength and mystery, respectively, causing one capability towards evoking preferable product placement from treasure storehouses of angelic realms, keeping everyone well informed, entertained, and at their best, connecting to one's own personal money menahuni in the Kabbalistic Sephiroth of Jupiterian Chesed and Venusian Netzach, which are important Sephiroth for income creation and money magic techniques, being abundant sources of money from where economic vitality is sustained to a profusion of realized abundance brought down through Kabbalistic upper realms into the world of Asaya, having the throne of Malkuth the bride and Malkuth of the king, creating his kingdom in Malkuth, begotten from excellent genetic tinkering of elves, gnomes, and fairies, being magical beings inhabiting etheric planes of existence, given that superior prospects given when well-made magical talismans and amulets are properly crafted and used, made with skilled hands, and are able to speak to friendly and goodly beings brought to earth through understandings which result from magical precision, manifesting real-world financial talents, dealing cooperatively with friendly magical elementals upon which all magicians and adepts must rely. Wizards and wizardresses often invoke into their being or invoke into fashion sacred spaces. So you invoke or invoke into magical circles the energies of the Sephira of Binah. Binah is going to be up here, where Saturnine intelligences, angels, and divine names are assigned in Kabbalah. So remember, you're going to be assigning these kind of divine tones. And this is when you want to bring the Saturnian energies of the Sephir of Binah, which has the energy to reveal and conceal. And that is going to bring in a more, again, Saturnine aspect. And that will release for you a hermetic seal. It'll release the energy and give you the ability to make a hermetic seal. And then when that is released, it creates marvelous venues for opulent opportunities for bettering one's investments or keeping already gotten monies in excellent order. Paying attention to Scripture gives good and right command of law, unvarying obligation to one's deity, community, friends, and most importantly, family. And that is going to grant victory in any circumstance, particularly when astrological progressions call for making a combination of diamond or zircon and combining or utilizing emerald with citrine, a very rich deep green emerald with citrine in your rings and bracelets, along with astrology archangelic forces known to Asphodel and Barchiel, which entices customers and clients through inscrutability and really perfumed and spectacled, and you want to make everybody to be able to see affluence through your reverberation of senses and the charm of the senses. Now, influential appeal in the theaters of property law, estate planning, zoning, and inheritance tax law will prove to uphold infinite remuneration kept intact when one commits Scripture to memory. Old Testament biblical scriptures are filled with political intrigue, family and community law, as well as tradition. Now, such knowledge will continue goodness in life. Now, let's look at Ruth in 4:15 of the Webster Bible translation. We read, "And he shall be to thee a restorer of thy life, and a nourisher of thy old age, for thy daughter-in-law who loveth thee, who is better to thee than 7 sons, hath borne him." Chakra, continuing, chakra balance during Sol's November transit are also invigorated and bathed in luxuriously cleansing citrine light and synchronized during this voyage, or sun fundamentally when good quality monetary health encourages delectable environments, and helpful angelic beings through November's gemstone, bestowing a great frequency of motivation and plentiful portion of economic chance through which one may manifest greater rewards. Now, we're continuing with Asmodeel's health and fitness transmission, again with help of the mighty archangel of who resides over the north in the cold, dry winds of the north, Uriel. Now, this is the brain structures we have here, and the planetary and astrological associations of these brain structures are going to be what we're going to be discussing in the health and fitness transmission from Asmodeel and the guardian angel Uriel. Again, Asmodeel is the teaching angel for you. Now, health practices are certain to improve fitness and well-being during November when disappointment is used to motivate oneself in healthy directions one desires to travel. Everything has its proper season, and now is the occasion for sublimating martial aspects of God alongside a great Plutonian facet of Creator's nature. Now, knowledge is stated in I know as a divine tone assigned to this now Aquarian age ruled by Saturn and Uranus, when messianic water-bearing qualities are added to November's cosmological confluence arrays of planets and divine tone of I create a sign towards Scorpio. Creativity is your crown, knowing and acting upon learned ancient sciences such as alchemy, along with magical gemstone array technologies made with deep understanding in the hands of talented artisans and technicians. While the sun transits through natural 8th house attributes of birth and death and sex and death, and also rebirthing during November, life will be plentiful, exciting, and that way we hint that with plenty of excitement, and that any hint of boredom will actually be much appreciated because things are so exciting. Actually, when things are too exciting, people appreciate a little boredom. Too many storms, one appreciates some beautiful, consistent, gentle rains. Now, follow this in the book of Esther 1:6. In the Webster Bible translation, we read, "Where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen and purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble." Now, continuing with the transmission from Asmodeel and from Uriel, strong health will be given. A good life comes through the kind of right activity, and it becomes doable during astrological convergence arrays of planets, moons, and stars due to balancing of crown, third eye, solar plexus, sacral, and root chakras. Crown or seventh chakra is analogous to supernal sephirot of Kether, Chochmah and Binah, involving pineal gland and pituitary gland through expression of hormones, which grant access to netherworld and heavenly dimensions, where Christ is seen judging all human activity. Let us look, beloved, at the book of Revelation 20:11-13. In the Webster Bible translation we read, "And I saw a great white horse, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. And the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of the things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every man according to his works." Now, continuing with Asmodeel's and Uriel's transmission, third chakra in upper and lower solar plexus ductless glands. That's upper and lower solar plexus ductless glands include the adrenals and pancreas, which are also strengthened and revitalized during November's transit, especially when Tibetan yoga rites are used. All are energized when soul transits natural 8th house frequencies. Solar plexus chakra activation occurs during this progression, involving lower portions of Sephira of Tiferet, which encompasses the soul of the heart and ego of the solar plexus chakras. Thus, during November, ego becomes more stimulated than the soul. This is due to societal encouragement, self-concern, and self-reliance. Sacral chakra involves activation of female reproduction and sexual organs, while root chakra frequencies are concerned with male reproductive and sexual organs. Now, genetic awareness imprinted upon one's true will lead to excellent adherence to biological push towards well-organized and proper cellular task functioning towards vibrant health. A fantastic soothing, harmonizing, and healing focus occur during November when one electrifies one's personal morphogenic field with an objective towards vim and vigor brought into reality through knowledge and use of God's universal laws of success and health and well-being. Now, turn, beloved, to Galatians chapter 3, verse 24. In the Webster Bible translation, we read, "Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us to Christ, that we might be justified by faith." Now, new creativity and innovation proves a momentous attribute during November. And in the I Ching method of chakra healing, this portion of the year is significant for healing of the organs and structures of the head and the upper and lower abdomen and the pelvis, as well as genitals and ductless glands assigned to chakras already mentioned, while strengthening, invigorating, and energizing. Natural 5th house. That's the natural 5th house. So you understand that that is going to be associated for soul. When you have Leo, you've got 5th house attributes. And you've got those 5th house attributes connected with November's 8th house qualities, being that November's zodiac sign Scorpio's ruling planets of Mars and Pluto, which are concerned with planetary seraphim Samael of Mars and planetary archangel Azrael of Pluto, strengthening 10 Kabbalistic Sephirotic dimensions, plus bringing new awareness of martial 5th Sephira of Geburah and Plutonian invisible Sephira of Da'ath, or Keter, in thelemic studies regarding function connecting dimensions of strength and courage and battle and mystery and peak performance and discipline, with subsequent Plutonian exploitation of sexual allure through use of pheromones, incorporating essences which suggest strength or thickness through preparations or tinctures too strong for most, congruent with outlandish portions of one's ego when one overdoes. Now, Scorpio preparations include dragon's blood, tobacco, myrrh, vanilla, peppermint, nutmeg, and cloves, basil or ginger. Incorporation of the entire range of energetic frequencies of clear diamond or Lemurian crystals for Venus, emerald, that deep green emerald for Taurus, and citrine for Scorpio, that beautiful yellow mustard citrine for Scorpio, brings innovation and vitality into life during November, causing you to become even more capable to achieve your goals, of having power and ability to become even more resourceful. Folks will be persuaded by your puzzling yet strong talents during this astrological transit, bringing well-intentioned excitement and also new opportunities, deluxe landscapes, as well as magical treasures from deep within your soul, brought to fruition through understanding and use of ego. Now remember, it's going to be right use of your ego. Meditate on the book of Ruth 2:12, Webster Bible translation. The Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given to thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou hast come to trust. Astrocartographic arrangements currently, as well as at birth, must be revealed if a holistic style of unveiling one's inner nature is truly desired. Disclaimers in order here. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Remember to chant your divine tone of I have, or try out the higher aspect of simply just meditating on the quality of having. And be wise, be well, be all you are meant to be, Taurus. Information found in this document and in this video is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.